Mark Makes It, a compilation of DIYs and self-help projects to help you get some things done around the house that'll kind of add some enjoyment and some beauty and artwork. And today's project is going to be the whiskey barrel planter. It's very exciting. And we have our example right over here. As you can see, we used a common ordinary whiskey barrel, a post, some fixtures for our pot holders, and we were able to create something that's not only very beautiful but also functional, because this also works with our common irrigation system with piping inside here to be able to do its own watering during the irrigation cycle. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the first step of our project. Hi, welcome to Mark Makes It, a compilation of DIYs and projects for your backyard and your house to stay cozy at home. Today, we are going to make a whiskey barrel planter. This is going to be a little bit better than the ones you've seen before, as we're going to use this as a base, then we're actually going to put a 4x4 erected on top of here, so we put some plant hangers to make it look nice and pretty for Mom, okay? And then we're going to make an herb garden down here so Dad can continue cooking. Fun. So let's get started and let's take a look at our inventory, okay? First of all, we have some general ordinary planter soil we're going to use to be able to put inside here to grow our herbs, because herbs love dirt. And then we're going to have some pea pebbles here. That's going to help our drainage, okay? You don't want water to stay inside your dirt. You start getting disease and bore, and it's bad, okay? Our next product is the star of the show, our whiskey barrel. I bought a nice one from Home Depot, and it's going to look really nice when we get done, okay? And then we have our redwood posts and our bracing boards, okay? This has got to be redwood because it's going to be sitting in dirt, and it's going to protect against moisture and insects, okay? That's this part of the inventory. Let's finish our inventory with what we have over here. We have some tubing, we have a connector to go into our irrigation system, and then we have some of our other accessories to do it. And then I was able to pick up these pot holders, or planters, at Lowe's for a really good price because they were on closeout, okay? Those look really nice too. Mom will like that. All right, so that completes our inventory. Let's go through our tool sets, okay? We have a drill, two drills, one for drilling holes and the other one for driving nuts, okay? And then we have our circular saw. Now, don't get intimidated by this. Your local lumber or home improvement store will be able to cut some of those boards for you if you don't have something like this, okay? Or you can do it by hand, but there's several different ways to cut your boards. And then we have our drivers, our drill bits, our level, and deck screws. I'm using deck screws because it's going to be inside a place where it's going to get moisture and it's going to be out in all weather. Then we have our ruler and our pencil. And that pretty much wraps up our inventory and our tool set. So let's get started to project step number 1. Okay, our first step here is to make some cuts on our boards. As you can see, we got our 4x4, and this is 7 foot tall. We're not tall people, so 7 foot tall is a little bit too tall for us, okay? So I'm going to take a foot off this baby and make it a little bit more down to our size, okay? I got our circular saw. I've been able to make my markings, and then we're going to go ahead and make our cuts, okay? We'll get started. Okay. All right, so our next cuts are going to be for our bracing boards. These I measured out to be 10 inches, so when we put the post, the 4x4 in the middle, we'll be able to brace it out, and you'll see some of that video footage a little bit later as we get rolling, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and make my cuts. Okay, we got done doing our cuts, and we have 4 evenly cut boards, as we always measure twice and cut once. All right, now we're going to use these as our bracing boards and our joints to be able to put our post up, and that'll come up as our next step. All right, so now that we got done making our cuts, we're ready to start bracing our post, okay? We're going to make a joint to be able to put this on. This is my lovely daughter, Anna, who came uninvited, and we're going to use these right here, our cuts, to be able to make our joint, okay? And it's a pretty simple process in that we are going to place our first board flush against the bottom and try to go as flush against the side as humanly possible, okay? So the joint we're going to make here is pretty simple. It's going to be taking our 2x4s, and we're going to make them flush against the bottom of the post and flush against the side of the post, okay? We'll make sure we're doing this by placing our board up against it, right? And then we're going to go ahead and make our next joint, our next cut is going to go flush against the side here and flush there, and then so on as we go all the way around. Now we're only going to put one deck screw in, as we're going to use these as guides, and then we'll put our secondary deck screw in when we think we're flush against the bottom. And we'll continue doing that as we go. Okay, as we start working on our joint, we're going to go ahead and put our guide holes in. And these guide holes are going to be used to be able to anchor the boards against the post until we get everything flush and ready to go. Okay. Now, we're going to place our deck screws into our boards by using guide holes, and that way our first board won't split when we actually put our screws in. Okay. And I have my common ordinary handy dandy hand drill here, and we're using, I believe, a 1/8 bit. Okay. We'll start with our first one, and I want these to be pretty much the same on all of them. So I'm going to go ahead and drill through the first one into the second one to make my marking. Hole one is done. Hey, welcome back. Okay, now that we got our guide holes inside our boards, now we're going to do the beginning of our joint. Okay, and our joint's going to be able to brace this at the bottom of our whiskey barrel so it won't move, okay, throughout a good long time. All right. So what I'm going to do is brace this here against the end of our post, and then try to brace it here at the end over here on this side, okay? Now, my young boy Max is going to bring me overboard, and he's going to stay here to help me. Max, come over here and help me, okay? Press this against here and make sure it doesn't move. You don't have to press it hard, okay? Just put your hand right here where my finger is. There you go. Now we're going to use that to make sure that we're flush against the end of the post. So when we complete our joint, it'll be ready to go, okay? All right, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and drill in the first deck screw. Good, that went well. All right. And then we'll go ahead and finish up the rest of this joint and we'll get back to you.